What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of J Crypto. All right, we're going to be talking about 15 different properties that NFTs have. Now, this video actually was inspired by a clip that I'll play for you real quick. Listen to this, okay? This is a little story that Robert Kiyosaki is telling. If you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, he wrote one of the most famous real estate investing books. In fact, I would say that even just for understanding really the difference between assets and liabilities, it's probably the best educational book to understand the difference between an asset, something that produces wealth for you and cash flow, and a liability, something that costs you wealth or takes away. And it was a pretty enlightening story. So listen to this clip.
Long-term strategy, and then if they say that, then I love it, because then that's really what it is. It's a long-term strategy of cash flow.
Correct. And so let me give you, Kenny and I come from different backgrounds when it comes to real estate. I've never been in the real estate business. I don't have a real estate salesman's license or any of that. So I went and took a real estate course way back in 1973. It was 300. I was watching a TV infomercial in Hawaii. I was still flying for the Marine Corps. And I asked my rich dad, can you teach me about real estate? And he said, that's not my job. Your job is to learn about real estate. So why don't you just teach me? He says, that's not my job. So he says, go learn for yourself. And so I was still remember I was in Honolulu. I was flying out of Hawaii. And I was watching this infomercial, and it says, you too can become a multimillionaire with nothing down investing in real estate. So since I had nothing down anyway, I called up and I said, sign me up. So the course was free. The introductory course was free. And so I strolled into it, and it cost $385, which I really didn't have because I was making about $600 a month as a Marine pilot. So $385 was a lot of money for me. But I signed up for the course. I figured out how to get the money, as we can all do. And I took this 3-day course. And that's how I started in real estate. And the most important lesson my advisor or the teacher gave me, the guy was sort of like Ken, a real estate professional. He said to our class, there was about 30 of us in the class, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, your education begins the day you leave this class. And he says, what you do when you leave this class will determine whether or not you become a real estate investor or not. And his assignment was that each of us in the class had to look at 100 properties, do a 1-page evaluation on the property, why it was good or bad, pros and cons of it, in 90 days. So the assignment was 100 properties in 90 days, 1-page written documentation why it was good or bad, evaluation.
All right, so 100 properties in 90 days. Okay, so that's kind of the challenge that I'm going to do. Now, instead of properties and real estate, we're going to do it with NFTs. And we're not going to put a 90-day limit because there's going to be other stuff that I'm going to want to cover. So instead, we're just going to do 90 NFT deals. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on the channel. If you want to follow those videos, subscribe to the channel and check out how I'm going to do this. So basically what we need to do, and by the way, I was in real estate. Now, unfortunately, I was in it from the broker side of things. And Robert Kiyosaki always razzes brokers because he says the reason why they call them brokers is because they're broker than you are. Instead of the investment real estate side of things. But I actually got into the broker side of things to learn about the investment side of things. And it turned out that it was more of a sales position, which taught me a lot of valuable skills too. But I was always interested in the people in my industry, and I would talk to them and grab coffee with them. And they were the people who usually had about 20 different properties in their portfolio, if you will. So I would learn about, seller financing, how to get a property with no money down, things of that nature that these, I guess, pros, if you will, who knew the tricks to the trade in their subdivision or in their specific market to really kill it in the investment real estate game. Now, what I've noticed though, after analyzing hundreds of real estate deals myself and a lot of investment properties, is that the opportunities now aren't the same opportunities that our older generations, if you will, you 50-year-olds and maybe 40-year-olds may have had. I believe real estate currently doesn't have the same ROI potential in the next 40 years that it did in the previous 40 years. But that's where we get into NFTs. Do you guys know what the largest industry is? I believe for millionaires right now, it's not real estate anymore. I believe it's digital property. Digital property is owning basically like links, certain domain names like voice.com. If you've ever listened to Michael Saylor, he'll talk about how he owns voice.com, and he'll go into a rant about that for like, a good amount of time to make a point that through SEO and because of Google's dynamics, owning something as simple as voice.com can be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So what's the point? The point is that NFTs is digital real estate on steroids. It's digital property on steroids, on the most natural, organic, best working, least harmful steroids ever made. And I have no idea anything about steroids. I've never done steroids, so I just have zero clue. But these would be the best steroids for digital real estate. Now, listen, a lot of parallels I see and a lot of opportunities I see for the younger generations like myself to really take advantage of this time and learn. Right? And learn. So that's why I'm going to take it upon myself to analyze about 90 NFT deals. I'm going to create a criteria that's a little bit different than how I would analyze a investment property, like a multifamily, where we'd have to look at taxes. We'd have to look at expenses. We'd have to look at basically, are we going to have to rehab it when we buy it? We're going to have to look at what's the ROI, what's the cash on cash return, things of that nature. What kind of financing am I going to get, right? What's the mortgage? What's the expected mortgage? Is it a 30, year fix? Things of that nature, and then kind of analyze the deal opposed to an NFT. Now, what I like about NFTs and why I think the kids, and by kids, I mean 20-year-olds basically, and I think savvy 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100-year-olds and 40-year-olds, don't want to forget about the 40-year-olds, and the millennials, of course. I'm Gen Z, so millennials, we love you too. But the savvy old guys, the maybe not as currently wealthy young guys, and of course the millennials, the working class millennials, will all enjoy about NFTs is that you can get in at any level. There's NFTs that you can buy for tens of thousands of dollars. There's NFTs that you can buy for tens of millions of dollars. There's NFTs that you can buy for tens of dollars. And what I wanted to give you in this video was kind of a preview of some of the ideas I've been thinking about for my criteria, because I want to document this process. So I wrote down, let's create an NFT criteria. First, what are some categories of NFTs? Well, I was thinking about putting, NFTs without utility and NFTs with utility, and kind of making like a distinction between that. But based on already viewing hundreds of NFT deals myself, because that's kind of what I do, and I'm in talks with people that are creating NFTs, and I'm in talks with people that want to create NFTs. I'm in talks with all different types of industries. I'm in talks with restaurateurs. I'm in talks with some athletes. I'm in talks with a bunch of different people who are like, Jay Crypto, how can I get into NFTs? How can I create a successful project? And I didn't know. And I told them that. I was like, look, I've never done this yet, but I can kind of help you and we can learn together. So that's what I've been doing. Plus, I've been looking at what's on the markets on OpenSea, a few projects that come to mind that I would say are currently digital real estate, and they're probably some top tier projects are like Freinds, which is, we'll get into that. Maybe we'll do a video on that. Maybe there needs to be some more clarity about what the heck the potential is of Freinds, because there's so much potential. And I have another challenge where I'm going to try to trade ADA NFTs coming up myself and get a VFriend. So that's a challenge that I'm going to try to do. I don't know if it's going to work. VFriends are going up in value, it seems. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it and probably learn a ton along the way. So here's the thing, though. I've already looked at hundreds of NFT deals. I suggest you do the same before you even start investing in NFTs. And that's why I'm going to put my disclaimer right here. I'm not going to edit it in. I don't got time for that currently. I'm going to have to pay somebody to do that for me because I'm doing so much research. I'm just like not going to learn those little, how to, the YouTubers do those things. Eventually, guys and girls. So here's what we're talking about. We're saying that instead of looking at it as does an NFT have utility or does it not have utility, let's rephrase the question. On a spectrum of utility, where do you think this NFT falls? I think that's a much more professional way to phrase it, as you can score it within 100 points, and you can kind of rate it based on different properties the NFT has. And that will give you maybe your own little ranking system. Now that will change as NFTs change, because as NFTs change, something with utility now will seem like it has no utility in 4 years from now, when there's something that has just utility up the yin yang, right? So here's the deal, okay? These videos will be pretty short. I'm going to try to make them around 10 minutes or less. So we're going to go bing, bang, boom, boonga, completo. I'm going to rattle off some qualities that I look and see in NFTs. So one type of NFT that I coined the phrase DEX NFT. If anybody tells you differently, don't believe them. They're a flat out liar, and you can't trust them after that. I coined that phrase. I came up with it. I got the videos to prove it. I got the time on my YouTube videos to prove it. I'm going to have to NFT those, of course. And I might have put it on Twitter. I might have put it on my notes app or something. I might have put it on different places where I have a little, thing that says when I put it. I probably texted it to people. So I have a bunch of things. I created the phrase DEX NFTs. I don't care what they tell you. And if they tell you that otherwise, they're lying. Okay. So and by the way, what is a DEX NFT real quick? Any NFT that is in correlation to a decentralized exchange. This is critical. Just let's right off the bat make the distinction. The reason why is because there is inherent value in a DEX NFT for the pro side, and there's also regulatory overhang on the con side. So immediately we got to know what type of investment we're getting into. Okay. Next is P2E gaming NFTs. So is the NFT part of some sort of play to earn game? Next is access NFTs. For example, VFriends, the collection I was talking about. Well, VFriends is basically an access NFT in the effect that for 3 years, 2022, 2023, 2024, it acts as a ticket to what's called VCon, which is a convention that Gary Vaynerchuk will be putting on. Okay. Historically significant art NFTs. Okay. This is lower on the utility spectrum, in my humble opinion. Now, what do I call a historically significant art NFT? I look at CryptoPunks. The historically significant is pretty darn important because there's a lot of art NFTs and they're probably going to never amount to anything. Sorry. Just hand up. Just going to say it now. They're probably never going to amount to anything. That's okay. Those artists might be able to create something in the future better. But if it's just a JPEG, guys, it's not going to fly. People are getting very smart, and people are smart. So next up, we got DAO NFTs. Okay. So a DAO NFT is an NFT that is related to what's called a decentralized autonomous organization. Okay. We'll get into those when we do our analysis. Next up is my favorite type of NFT, but it does come with some regulatory overhang in some cases, and that's going to be cash flowing NFTs. So when NFTs have some cash flow to them, just know that you might be taking a risk if it's related to something like an anonymous dApp where you don't know the developers, because if regulations make anonymous dApps and require proof of authorship, like Mark Cuban is talking about in his Twitter rants, then obviously there could be some regulatory overhang for that kind of deal. DAO NFTs, in my opinion, will be the thing to change the world the most. Okay. This is where you're going to see the most passive income with DAO NFTs that are successful. This is where you're going to see the most community effort to really reinvest in the company. And I talk about these when I talk about coffee shops and also in the virtual world, things in the metaverse, all different stuff. You can scroll on my YouTube channel to see some of that stuff. Okay, next up is event access NFTs, or excuse me, access NFTs. So I said access NFTs for an event earlier when I was talking about the VCon, but an actual access NFT, there's actually a VFriend out there that I believe if you own, you get 1 hour of tennis, I believe, with Gary Vaynerchuk. So what I would say that is that's more of an access to an actual person opposed to an event, which has a different value prop. Okay. And remember, none of these qualities have to be the only quality an NFT has. Just because it's an access NFT to Tom Brady doesn't mean it can't cash flow on one of Tom Brady's businesses if he creates more businesses. That's the beauty of NFTs. You can have an unlimited, infinite amount of utility built into some of these NFTs, which is beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, next up, mining NFTs. So this, I think of Yushi, where you have a NFT that represents a portion of the hash power of a certain cryptocurrency. Next up, different blockchains, asterisks. So I put this in there because you want to know what blockchain the NFT was built on, right? Is it on Ethereum? Is it on something like Zilliqa? Is it on a blockchain that hasn't even taken off yet? Is the upside there? Like Cardano NFTs is like, I believe Cardano NFTs are just going, they're going to the moon and never coming back. That's what my pattern recognition is telling me so far. And I'll obviously communicate on the channel if that changes. So that's what I would call different blockchains, asterisks. Just remember, NFTs can be on different blockchains. Set supply collection NFTs. Okay. So a set supply could be like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, where you have a collection of NFTs and there's 10,000 of them. Okay. Then you have IDO privilege NFTs. So does holding the NFT give you the privilege to participate in an IPO in crypto? We call it an IDO because most of the time it's on a decentralized exchange. So the D in the IDO stands for initial DEX offering, because a decentralized exchange is also known as a DEX. Okay. Unlimited supply NFTs. So is there no cap on the NFTs? Can they continually be minted? And if so, what's going to keep the value of that NFT there? Which is the question. Because I'm not saying unlimited supply NFTs are bad. It doesn't necessarily mean in crypto. It's not like currency like the dollar. If you can just print a bunch of money, it's going to dilute everyone's value. With unlimited supply NFTs, they can actually be pretty interesting, because if you have some kind of way to burn NFTs and you're burning NFTs faster than you're minting them, then you're actually making the supply more scarce, not more prevalent. Verified NFTs. So verified NFTs, it's a quality where you just know the NFT is from the actual project, right? or the person that created it. Like Freinds again. We'll just use Freinds because it's freaking climbing up the charts and everyone loves it. And it's great. Real world connected NFTs. So a great subscriber threw a great example at me. If you were early here in crypto, then you know that some of the, or actually not even early, this happened like this year, but I'm going to call it early because I think we're all still wicked early. So if you were early in the crypto and, you know, this spring saw what Uniswap did, they created NFTs where it was a sock. It was Uniswap socks. And if you owned it and you burned it, they would send you a pair in real life of the socks. That's what I call a real world connected NFT. Now, it's multidimensional, okay? Because you've also seen fractional shares of real estate be tokenized, and that's what we call, what is that? I think it's like Realty. That's the company that does it. It's called Realty. Look it up. They already are fractionalizing U.S. properties and tokenizing them and selling them to people. The funny part, in the form of an NFT, the funniest part, though, is that you literally can't buy it if you're from the U.S. because they're complying with all the current regulations. So you can't even buy one if you're from the U.S. It's kind of hilarious because they're U.S. property, and these are properties in Michigan. Celebrity NFTs. So this is similar to the Access, but not, you know, I would say exactly the same. I think when I think of this, Logan Paul, you know, if you own his NFT, it doesn't necessarily mean yet. Hopefully he plugs in some utility down the road for anybody. I don't own one of his NFTs, but what I think would be a good play if you're listening, Logan Paul, because I know that you probably are thinking about this because you're a wicked smart dude. What I think would be a very smart play, sorry guys, what I think would be a very smart play is to eventually just create more and more utility for that set of NFTs, because a lot of people in the crypto world, I think, underestimate Logan Paul. The reason why is because he's not only a very smart businessman, but he launched these NFTs pretty sporadically. He partnered with Bondly. And the beauty about NFTs is you can continue to add utility to them as the project owner. So Logan Paul could just simply say, anybody that owns my NFT gets a new NFT dropped to their wallet, and that new NFT gets them a live meeting with me, or depending on, I think there was a few tiers to his NFTs, right? Logan Paul, if you're listening, then if there's a few tiers to his NFTs, what's great about that is the higher the tier, the more valuable the utility you can add into it. It doesn't have to be a meeting. It can be a freaking little, it can be a one-time deal for like the highest tier to go on to his podcast, Impulsive or whatever it is. It can be a bunch of stuff, or front row seats to a Jake Paul fight, maybe. I don't know. It can be a bunch of stuff. So like he can just continue to add utility. And in that essence, if he's making a royalty on those, I'm not sure if he is. We'll have to look at that. But the next one is going to be royalty NFTs. So that's kind of like another property where anytime a project owner has an NFT and they initially sell it. So let's say Logan Paul sells one of his NFTs for $100. Okay. Obviously, it'd be more because he's a celebrity, and that brings up the value. But it depends on how many there are. It depends on a bunch of factors, which we'll go over when we analyze these deals. But what's great about NFTs is that when that next person, so let's say I buy his NFT for $100 and I sell it to you, okay, whoever's watching, unless it's Logan Paul. That's the only exception to this rule, okay? Then what happens is I sell it for, let's say, $200. If there's a 10% royalty on it, which there usually is, then he's going to get $20 of the 200, basically. And I'm going to only get $180 of the 200. And then the person I sell it to is going to get the NFT. And that's how it rolls. So the more utility that these celebrities can build into their initial, and the OG NFT world was kind of rough on him, I thought, because it was his first NFT project, and who knows, it could really explode in value. I think it will. But my thing about those NFTs is like people don't understand that as soon as Logan Paul realizes what people like Gary Vee are going to do with VFriends, which is continue to add use case and utility to his first set of NFTs. And Logan Paul can do the exact same thing because he's a master marketer. He is already understanding NFTs with lower utility, I would say, more of the art pieces. I think it's a matter of time if he already isn't thinking about how to make his NFTs really pop and be more valuable down the road. That was actually 16 different properties of NFTs. So let me know what you guys like about the challenge. I'm going to be doing a lot of different types of NFT analyses. I'll probably be doing my first one this next week. And we're gonna spread it out. We're gonna make this a fun little series, a fun little challenge to do 90 NFT analyses, and we're gonna see how long it takes. So I'm excited to do it. Right now, it's gonna take me about a week to build out a strong criteria of how to analyze these NFTs. There's not really any great videos out there, in my opinion, of someone who's very like me, like more of an all-around NFT player, where like I understand all these different types of properties because I've studied projects that each have like one or two or three of these traits. So I get the full spectrum of what's currently available for NFTs. Plus my channel is about researching newer NFTs as well. So I think it'll be fun to document this as a tribute to Robert Kiyosaki, who made a great book, great impact on myself. So thanks, Robert. I don't know if he's going to like NFTs. He might not at first. I don't know. He likes Bitcoin. So, I mean, a lot of the reasons why he likes Bitcoin make a ton of sense. It's like the reason why a lot of people like Bitcoin. He phrases it sometimes like this: I like Bitcoin because I don't trust my government. I think that's hilarious. Anyways, I'll end on that. So that's Jay Crypto. I'm excited to do my first NFT analysis with you, ladies and gents. Stay tuned for that. And as always, this is Jay Crypto. Goals to get to 10,000 subscribers by October. The other challenge, too, I'll mention now is, and don't let me forget, I'm going to try to trade up to a VFriend with ADA NFTs because I want Gary Vee to see that Cardano's legit. I heard him on Pops and Drops, and the other two chains he mentioned were Solana and Polygon. And I get it. DraftKings has a marketplace on Polygon. And then Solana, it's like, you know, the new hot, shiny, you know, thing. But man, oh man, I really hope he gets into Cardano because he's so much about communities. Once he realizes the community aspects of the Cardano tech, not only the Cardano community, that's not what I'm saying, the community aspects of the Cardano tech, I think he's going to go all in. I really do. So I'm going to try to get this for him to see it. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But either way, thanks for watching. There's going to be 90 different NFT analyses. I'm not sure what the name of the challenge is. I'm also going to try to trade up to a VFriend with Cardano NFTs only. And we'll see if I can do it. First off, I got to see how much a VFriend is. I don't know if it's, let's check that real quick before I let you go. If you're still watching, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Jay Crypto. And I guess I should go on to OpenSea, right? OpenSea. You can tune off if you don't want to see this extra part, but if you do, then stay tuned. Because it'll take me a second to find it. So I guess I'll go into OpenSea and check the floor price, right? Let's go to Marketplace. Let's go to VFriends. Let's go to sort by. Low to high. Okay. Well, right now it seems like it's going to cost around 12 ETH. Is that correct? Everything else is over 12 ETH. This is unbelievable. I don't think that this is going to be what it's going to cost, but I'm going to try to get one for, gosh, I should bite my tongue just in case Gary V is actually watching this. I don't want to undersell because he'll kill me. He'll kill me, man. He'll be like a snake in the grass and he'll kill me. I'm going to undisclose what I think I can get one for. But guys, I grew up, and girls, I grew up in the eBay world. I've been an entrepreneur, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can do it here on the channel. I will be letting you know for the ones that I choose to do. But I will say this now, in case you see this video, I don't want you guys to copy me. Please don't. That's it. That's not financial advice. I just don't want you guys to copy me. I really just do not want you to copy me. Please do not copy me. Learn from the analyses and why I'm choosing certain projects when I make a video about something that I bought or sold and why I sold it and why I bought it. But don't copy what I buy, because by the time that I buy it, it's probably going to be too late to buy it. By the time that I sell it, it's probably going to be too late to sell it. So don't even try. Just don't even try. Do your own thing. Do your own challenge. All right, that's Jay Crypto. As always, I appreciate you for watching. And that's pretty much it. So thanks so much. Take care. Jay Crypto, I'm out.